Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. On behalf of Developer Student Clubs and IT Patna, I welcome you all to our first speaker session, Tech Symposium, which is focused on career opportunities in analytics and related technologies. Today, here we have with us a very special guest speaker, Mr. Y.S. Sri Harsha, who is currently working as a PI manager at Amazon and has a work experience of more than 4 years. He's also an IIM alumni. He's a technocrat and has a really good experience in this field. Welcome, sir, and thank you very much for joining us today. Please go ahead, sir. Over to you.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Gyanvi. Thank you for having me. So, as Gyanvi explained, my name is Y.S. Sri Harsha. I'm currently working as a process improvement manager in Amazon. So, I have a work experience of almost 5 years in business analytics, like 3 years prior MBA and 2 years post MBA in Amazon. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about what is business analytics, what are the various types of business analytics that is there, what are the various stages that are there, what kind of skill set are required as an engineering graduate for you to excel in a career in business analytics after your engineering, and then what kind of job roles that are there currently in the market that you guys can target at. So this will be the structure of the session going forward. So in the end, after the session is over, I'll give some time for Q&A where you can ask me questions about how to excel in a career of business analytics, or something about how what kind of tools that you have to learn, what kind of courses that you have to take. So all these things can be discussed. So let's move into the session directly. Can you guys hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, this is the agenda for today. We'll go through what is business analytics. Then we'll see what are the domains across which analytics is used and how it is used. And then we'll go through what is the skills required for excelling in a career in business analytics and the job roles that are currently in the market right now. So initially, so what is business analytics? So business analytics is basically the science of analyzing data that we currently have to find out patterns that will be useful for us to into taking decisions or solving the business objectives that are there. So it focus on quantitative methods and evidence-based data for business modeling and data-driven decision making. So nowadays, any decision that a company is taking to fulfill its objectives or mission vision statements, it's entirely on analyzing data that company is gathering. So, for example, in Amazon, we thrive upon doing a dive deep on data and use data to take business decisions. So there is no subjectivity involved in decisions that are being taken in Amazon. So it's entirely evidence based and quantitative based on the data that we collect. Yeah. So what is business analytics? Business analytics as a role mainly focuses on data, statistical analysis, and reporting. All these things are done to investigate and analyze the business performance, and then based on the analysis we'll have some insights, and these insights will drive recommendations for the company to improve its performance goals, and then have them reach objectives. So what are the stages that are there in business analytics? So basically these are the main stages that form the pillars of business analytics. They are descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. So, what is descriptive analytics? So, this is basically a study where we'll find out what is happening to the business currently. So, currently, so as the name suggests, basically what happens in this stage is the data is gathered from various sources, let it be financial data or marketing data or HR data. Based on the business domain, the data is collected, and it is visualized in a dashboard or in terms of reports, so that the business can see what is currently happening to the business or what has happened in the past. So this is the crux of descriptive analytics. So when you go to the next stage, which will be diagnostic analytics, this is where we take a look at those reports, or we take a look at that meaningful data and start analyzing them. So based on this analysis, we might find out gaps that are there in the current process, or the steps that we need to take to improve. So this is done is in diagnostic analytics. Diagnostic analytics is basically in its crux, why is the stuff happening? What you're seeing in a dashboard, why is it happening? If the sales has reduced in the past 1 quarter, why is it happening is what we decide in diagnostic analytics. So the next stage would be predictive analytics. In this stage, what we do is we'll try to forecast or predict what's going to likely happen in the future. So we diagnosed in the prior stage, we found out that this is the problem that is there. These are the root causes of the problem that is there. So what we do is, how will this problem affect our business in the future? That forecast we'll do. If at all a business is doing good, on the other hand also, we'll try to find out how much it's going to increase, so that we'll plan our man hours or workforce accordingly, right? So this is predictive analytics. So the last stage would be prescriptive analytics. Here, the crux is basically, what do I need to do to succeed? So what kind of decisions should I take so that whatever issues that we found in diagnostic analytics can be removed, can be eliminated. So this is basically what we do in prescriptive analytics. So after prescriptive analytics, we implement the changes that we wanted to take, the recommendations will be executed, and this will again create a new set of data for us to put it on the dashboard. So again, this will form into a cycle where it will again begin from descriptive analytics, and then it will go to diagnostic, and so on and so forth. So these are like the 4 stages through which the data is moved and changed into information. From information, it will change into insights. From insights, it will change into targetable actions that are being taken by the firm or a particular team in the firm, so that you will meet your objectives and goals as a company. So these are the various stages that are there in business analytics. So let's now see what is the scope of analytics that is there. So what all can we do using business analytics? So these are 3 main pillars that are there in business analytics scope. So the first would involve data cleaning and integration. This will form in the descriptive analytics prior to this. So for the input of descriptive analytics, you basically need to have a set of data that is being gathered from sources. That will be step number 1. And then you should clean this data so that descriptive analytics can use this data to populate a dashboard, or to create reports, or to show meaningful information to the business users, right? So this will be the first step, or this will be one main pillar that is there in analytics right now, which is data cleaning or data integration, right? So the next field that is there is data visualization. So this is basically like, you have a set of data, but data as such doesn't help us into taking meaningful decisions. So what we do is, we visualize this data in form of, let it be charts or pie charts or bar graphs or column graphs or maps, to visually represent our data onto a report or a dashboard, and try to find some patterns so that we can gather some insights from these data. So this step is basically data visualization step. So here various tools are used in this process, where we'll get meaningful data, we'll clean the data in these tools, and then we project this data into dashboards in terms of charts or pie charts, and then we use these visualization elements to take meaningful decisions. So another branch of analytics is basically predictive modeling and decision optimization. Here, this step would involve the last 2. Basically, predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics will form this stage. Here, what we'll do is, we'll use various machine learning algorithms, AI, to predict or model, to find out forecasting values for the past data. So basically, we'll the simplest term which we can use is future as a function of past. So basically using past data, we'll try to predict what will be the future value. Based on that, we'll derive insights and then make actionable decisions. So decision optimization is basically, you will have, let's say every company has more than one solution in hand. So how do we reach the optimal decision to find out which decision is the best thing to take? So that problem is called the decision optimization problem. So this is part of operations research or linear programming, where you get to decide which uh, route you have to take to have the best outcome. You might have option A, option B, and option C. Out of these three, you will apply decision making optimization models on them and try to find out which option will give us the most benefit. So these are done using concepts like linear programming, right? So these are the three branches of analytics that are currently there in the market: data cleaning and integration, data visualization, and predictive modeling and decision optimization, right? So let's see how these are used across domains in the current scenario, in the current industry. So in terms of marketing industry, in marketing analytics, there are various things that are done as part of business analytics, namely segmentation analytics, which is basically we try to decide, we try to split our distribution channel. Let's say we have India is a huge country, right? If we want to segment our country into distribution centers, we can use marketing analytics to do that. So marketing mix optimization is what kind of products can be bundled together so that people will buy. So this is kind of a marketing mix optimization that is there. So interesting caveat which I want to share with you guys regarding this is, in terms of marketing mixes. So few years back, there was this research which was done by a store in US, so to determine what kind of products are bought together. So they had to capture data, and when they analyzed this data, they found that on a Friday evening between 5 to 7 p.m., males between the age of 35 to 45 always bought beer and diapers together. So what? So these are two products which we'll never think that people will buy together, right? So this kind of analysis was done, and they were able to come up with this crazy combination where they noticed that beer and diaper are a good marketing mix combo which can be sold together. So what that company did is, after they did this analysis, they moved the beer aisle close to the diaper aisle, and they saw immediate 30% increase in sales of both these items in the next 3 weeks. So if I had to dig deep into what can be the reasons for it, these are assumptions. Any one of this could be the reason. So one reason could be, so the age is between 45 to 35, right? So basically we can presume that these people would have newly born children in their homes currently in this age, and it is a Friday night, so maybe they want to enjoy the weekend. So combining these two, maybe there is a chance that diaper and beer can be bought together, right? So these are presumptions that we can make, which for a normal human, it will be difficult without data to comprehend. Only when we have the data, we'll start looking in this angle to find such marketing mixes, right? So this is one such example for a marketing mix that was there. So, and then there is also sales pipeline reporting, which is being currently done in many firms, where we'll track how the customer is moving from lead generation stage to becoming a client to the firm, right? So what we can do in this analytics is basically we'll have lead generation data. So there will be a database where all the leads for the particular team is being stored. So from this lead generation stage, we have to move to the first point of touch stage. So basically what happens is, an associate will take these leads and call up the client. right? So he'll start moving towards the lead, right? So what we can do in this pipeline reporting is basically we can see how many clients are there in each stage and what is the AHT, which is basically average handling time taken for a client to move from, let's say, lead generation to first touch to having the first uh, call generated or first report generated, and then conversion. So from conversion to what is the first time they make the first sale. So all these things can be tracked. So as a business user, what I can see is I can see which stage is taking more time, and I can analyze saying that maybe the time is taking more between first touch and from the lead generation stage to the first touch stage. So what this will from this what we can do is basically the reasons for this is there are many leads that are generated, but there aren't enough people with us who are able to contact these leads. So what we can do is as a business manager, what I'll do is I'll hire more people. Or if I see the reverse is happening, that there aren't many leads, but more people are there in the firm. So what I'll do is I'll reallocate resources, maybe move them to a different market region where the leads are more, right? So these kind of analysis can be done in sales pipeline reporting. Even in price setting, marketing analytics is used. So basically they'll do A/B testing where they'll uh, use use a different uh, price at one location and maybe use another set of pricing at a different location and try to find out how much sales is happening in each location, what is the awareness like. So all these analysis can be done in deciding the price of a product also, right? And new product launch is something which is done across firms in terms of marketing. This is like the important field where analytics is used, where a market research is done prior to the launch of product to see what is the awareness of the product, what is the uh, price tendency, or how much are the customers willing to pay for the products. So all these things are decided prior to launching and trying to find out insights from the data that has been gathered, let's say using market research techniques, right? So these are like various types of analytics that is being used in marketing analytics. So one domain which is currently in trend in terms of analytics is HR analytics. So nowadays every company is becoming people oriented. So we are moving towards a stage where people are given more preference than processes. So basically we are moving into a qualitative field where intangibles are supposed to be measured, and we have to make sure that people are well cared for, right? So yeah, so in this field what is happening currently is there are fields where talent is tracked, workforce is tracked, training analytics is done, retention analytics is done, recruitment analytics is done. So even in the past 6 months I handled a HR analytics project where I had to develop a dashboard in Tableau for the business leaders to see in my team, uh, to see what is the attrition rate currently my team is going through, or how many what is the diversity ratio. Ratio is nothing but how many women leaders are getting promoted, or what is the male to female ratio in the team that we have currently, right? These are the things that we I had to track. So I had to start with uh, the data gathering part. So I had to set up database systems where we were able to first get this data from the team, and then we had to set up a cleaning mechanism where we had to clean the data. Data cleaning is nothing but in its essence removing null values, making sure that the correct data is stored in each column. These are form of data cleaning activities that we do. And then we have to move to the visualization phase, which is the dashboarding phase, where we have to project the data that we have into visuals so that business users understand. So as technical people, what we have to make sure is in a lot of the companies there will be leaders who wouldn't understand the technical stuff. So visually showing them the data so that they can understand would be the very important step in your journey as a business analytics professional going forward. So, and in this regard, you should know what kind of data should be represented in what format. So, not every time a pie chart can be used to represent data, for example, or a bar chart can be used to represent data. So, if you want to categorize set of data, then the best way to go about is pie chart. If you want to compare for a set of categories various measures or values, then a bar chart with multiple columns should be the way to go. So deciding on this would be an important skill set to have, right? So even training analytics has become a part of the industry right now, where uh, what kind of training an employee goes through to in his uh, in his career is also being tracked in the particular team. Basically, how much training time did he go through in the last quarter? Is his skill sets and his job responsibilities, are they matched? All these things are dashboarded and they are tracked by the business user to make business decisions going forward, so that the team's efficiency will increase, productivity increase, right? Even operations domain, which is the least technical domain currently, is there, but lot of business analytics is being done in operations domain only. For example, a company like Amazon is purely like mostly operation oriented, right? We have large warehouses in most of the cities, in most of the small towns, where we have to track what kind of products are there in each fulfillment center, and to deliver a particular person who is ordering from some nook and corner of the country, which delivery center or the fulfillment center should the product go from? What is the shortest time we can take to deliver all these things? All these things are done by supply chain analytics. Basically, we can see in a dashboard what is the stock inventory that is currently there, what are your billables, how many orders have been returned. So all these things are there, and even quality control in terms of manufacturing firms has become a prime more concern for managers nowadays. Basically, like for example, let's say in a manufacturing firm, they are now using business analytics to control quality, like to make sure the quality is up to Six Sigma standards. They're using analytics. So every time a batch of products have some defective elements which crosses their quality standards, there will be a trigger which goes to the all the business members to take necessary actions quickly. This is being done because of quality control analytics, where the data is tracked on a regular cadence, so that we can see that how the data is changing, and if the data crosses a certainable limit, then what we should do. All these systems are kept in place using quality control analytics, right? Risk analytics is basically financial analytics that is there. As engineering students, you guys might not have more knowledge regarding this. So, so what happens is financial firms, profit and loss statements, portfolio is managed using analytics nowadays. This is more for MBA graduates to become managers in these fields, but there are even open entry level roles in risk analytics for engineering graduates also. For example, Goldman Sachs hires data scientists for this role, where they have to develop machine learning algorithms and models to forecast what will be the loss for a particular portfolio that is there. So here the technical stuff of a computer science graduate or a technical graduate can come into play, where a business graduate wouldn't know how to develop these models, right? That's where engineering graduates can come into this field. Customer analytics will be a combination of all this. We'll try to see what is the customer lifetime value, what has been the journey of the customer. For example, in Amazon, me as a customer, all my data prior purchases would be in a database, where we'll see what is the purchase pattern like. Maybe as a customer, I buy more during sales. I am a kind of person who will buy more during sales. If we consider this example as Amazon, what I'll do is, if I have this data, I'll start maybe sending you message deals or giving you notifications during deals so that I'll be aware of the deals that are happening in Amazon. This is basically what is the customer lifetime that has been going on. This analytics is being tracked. Loyalty. So I'll show a simple example. Maybe I think it's the next slide. Yeah. Show you how customer segmentation is done. This is a simple technique which is currently used in the industry, which has been there for a long time. Using data, how do we segment customers, right? This analysis is called basically RFM analysis. Okay. So what is RFM analysis is basically recency, frequency, monetary analysis. So R is for recency, F is for frequency, and M is for monetary. So recency is basically, as the term suggests, is how recent has the customer made a purchase in our store, right? This is R. Frequency is basically how frequent does the customer purchase the product from our store from. Okay, this is F. And M is how much money does he spend, right? Average amount of money that is spent by the customer, that is M, right? So using these three concepts, we'll determine R score, F score, and M score from the data that we have gathered from the customers, right? So as you can see, I have taken for an example here 15 customers, and we have determined what is the R score, F score, and M score, and then finally RFM score from these scores, right? So let's say as a data engineer in this stage, someone would have set up a data to someone would have set up a MIS system, which is basically information system, to track data to gather this information. So what information they have gathered is basically each customer, how recent have they purchased, what is the frequency like, and what is the amount like. So for example, customer 12 has purchased as recently as 1 day before, right? And then he has frequently visited like 10 times in the last 1 year, right? And then he has purchased for an amount of the average spend is basically 1510, right? So these are the data that has been gathered from various MIS systems that are being put up. And then what we do is in the data analysis phase, we rank these customers for each element. So for recency, customer 12 will be given rank number 1 because he was the most recent customer, right? So what we have done is, since we have 15 customers, R score or F score or M score will always be in the range of 1 to 5. So 15 customers, so each rank range would be 20% of the customers, right? So top 20% of your customer will get a score of 5, and the next 20% will get a score of 4, and so on and so forth. So here in our example, customer 12 will get a score of 5, customer 11 and 1 also get a score of 5 because they are in the top 20%, which is basically 3 out of 15, right? So we go ahead and rank them in terms of their recency. So similarly, frequency also, we take the top 20% and we give them the score of 5, and so on and so forth. So similarly for monetary also. So for customer 12, his R score is 5, F score is also 5, M score is also 5, right? From this, we derive at a score called RFM score, which is basically the weighted average of all these three scores. When I say weighted average, it's not simple average where you just add the three of them and divide by 3. This will be simple average. Weighted average is a concept where R score can be given if at all you think that for your firm recency is more important, then you will give a higher weightage to R. So 0.5. So 50% weightage can be given to R, 30% can be given to frequency, and 20% can be given to monetary. So in that way, we do a weighted average. So here in our example, I've taken a equal weightage for all three. So for customer ID 1, since his R score is 5, F score is 4, and M score is 4, the RFM score comes to 4.3, which is basically 5 plus 4 plus 4 by 3, right? So in this way, we try to find out the RFM score for all the customers. Now let's get into the interesting part where we try to segment these customers. So now that we have done this, uh, converted this data into information, how do we make sure we, what kind of insights can we get from this information? So let's take an example of customer 12. You can see that his R, F, and M score all are 5, and his RFM score hence is 5. And let's take an example of customer 1, 2 also. They have a score of 4.3 and 4.3. So these customers are our most loyal customers because they are they are recent as well, they are frequent, and they also spend more money in our store, right? So these form your loyalty customer segment. So this is one insight which we can take. So for these customers, what we can do is we can make them part of our loyalty program. We can give them brand deals, or we can give them deals, or we can give them coupons, or we can give them first access. For example, like we have prime customers in Amazon, we can create a different segment for these members, loyalty card members, let's say, and we give them first access to exclusive products. Let's say OnePlus is being sold in Amazon. We say in the first few hours of the day, only loyalty members will get a chance to buy these products. So these kind of offers can be given to loyalty customers, right? Let us take an example of customer 3. So he has an R score of 1, F score of 1, and M score of 1. These are customers which you need not spend your time on because they have not been recent, nor frequent, nor spent high money, right? Let's go to the other end of segment where let's take customer number 9. So this customer has a frequency score of 5 and a monetary score of 5, but a recency score of 1. So basically, this customer used to buy a lot and used to spend a lot also, but he has not been recent enough to the store. So what we have to do is we have to try to find out, dig deep, and find out why this customer has not been visiting our store. So in this, what we can, one insight, one assumption can be, maybe he has found a products at another store which is cheaper. So if that is the case, then what we have to do is we have to try to give him more deals. Contact him when we have a deal going on in your store, or give him some personalized discounts or personalized offers so that he'll start becoming our regular customer, and we'll move him from an customer with opportunity to, let's say, a loyal segment. So if he starts buying starts buying again in our store, he'll move from this segment to a segment where he'll become a loyal customer, right? His recency score will increase, hence he'll move into that segment. So this is how, using RFM analysis, you will segment your customer base using the data and uh, gaining insights from here, and you plan your marketing strategies accordingly based on each customer segment that is there, right? So let's move to the next slide, which is basically the skill sets that are required. So so if you see the screen, I have split it in such a way that uh, the left hand side would give you the concepts that you have to know, and the right hand side is basically the tools that you have to be familiar with, right? That is how I split into, and the combination of both will make you excel in your career, right? So so let's first start with the concepts. So basically, when I say concepts, these are the three main themes I have split the concepts into. One is statistical techniques. So these are basically your statistical techniques that are there, like mean, standard deviation, what is variance, what is a normal curve, what is a z curve, how do you normalize the data. So all these things are done using statistical techniques. So having a very good knowledge about these techniques is highly essential in growing up as a career in business analytics, right? This is the main basics that you need to know. So when it comes to operations research, as I told earlier, in decision optimizations, there are many concepts in operations research, one of which is linear programming models, where we'll try to decide what is the best option for the firm to take to have the maximum outcome taken from, right? It can be either what kind of advertising can we use, what is the advertising split should be, like how much percentage should be TV, how much should be digital, how much should be radio, so that we'll have maximum sales. So this can be one optimization problem that is there. So knowing these linear programming models will be highly useful in terms of playing around with this data to find patterns, right? These are operations research concepts that you have to know. And the third one is basically your the computer science graduates bread and butter. So these are information system techniques. This can be from data mining concepts or the various ML concepts that are there. What is the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised learning, and what is classification, what is regression, what is clustering, right? All these concepts are important as a computer science graduate, especially to know and to be well versed in uh, to grow in a career in business analytics, right? So these are like the concepts that you guys have to be familiar with uh, to to basically excel in business analytics. So when it comes to tools, one main foremost important tool that is currently being used in industry across domains, across fields is Excel. So advanced Excel knowledge is highly necessary and essential uh, for a career in at least intermediate knowledge in Excel should be there. So when I say intermediate knowledge, it's not like how to add a row, how to delete a row. These are the basic knowledges. This is the beginner level in Excel. You should know how to put a pivot table, how to clean data in Excel, how to use Power Pivot, how to use Power Query. So these are the things you have to know in Excel. So this knowledge, because lot of the finance companies, especially finance companies, maintain the data in Excel only, and most of their operations are done on Excel only. So having an Excel knowledge is highly recommendable, right? And then there are other statistical tools like SPSS and SAS, where you can do data modeling and among other stuff. SPSS, for example, can help you to do multidimensional scaling, or it can help you to do clean data or look at a data in a more visualized format, right? So SPSS can help you do all these things. So next set of theme will be the visualization tool. So as I told earlier, in descriptive analytics, this forms your core, right? The core of descriptive analytics is basically these visualization tools on how you have a data source from, so taking a data from a data source till the visualization part, whatever steps are there will be done using these tools like Tableau and Power BI. So I have taken these two because these are the leading visualization tools that are there in the industry right now, which are being used. There are umpteen number of courses that are available currently on Tableau and Power BI. So if not both, at least one of these visualization tools have to be uh, known to the candidates to get a role as a business intelligence consultant or business intelligence analyst or a data analyst. To get this job role, this visualization tools knowledge is highly important, right? And then the last but not the least is the statistical languages. So this again, as I told, will be like the bread and butter for you guys, computer science graduates. Uh, so basically, languages like Python and R should be, you should be at at least an intermediate level. So R is more important. So R is a statistical language which is being widely used in all firms nowadays, right? And SQL is as important as R or Python, right? So when you're dealing with data and if you don't know SQL, things can get very difficult very easily, right? So SQL knowledge, how to query a database, and concepts like join, what is left join, what is inner join, all these things should be known and well versed with uh, to excel in your career, right? So also a combination of these concepts plus these tools will help a candidate to even clear interviews and to do well after getting a job also, right? So as a engineering graduate, you should not focus on just one segment here. You should have both hands-on experience, hands-on knowledge, like the tool knowledge and the conceptual knowledge, right? So these are basically the skills required to excel in business analytics as a career. So let's go to what are the job roles that are currently there in the industry right now. So this is not an exhaustive list, but this covers the thematic job roles that are there currently in analytics for an engineering graduate. So it can fall under these three themes. One is basically data engineer, the other is data analyst, and the third is data scientist, right? So data engineer, right? So if at all you have a sense for back end work, so you like doing back end work. So when I say back end, it's basically like dealing with databases, dealing with data. You are more interested in how the tables are created, how the data is stored, how the data is so data pipelining, how do you set up a data management system in a company. So if you're interested in all these fields, then data engineer is the best job that you can wish for, right? So here the main responsibilities of the data engineer would be to improve data pipelines on a continuous basis. So as and when a new, for example, as and when a new product line is added in Amazon, this will again bring in a new set of data. So how do you track this data? How do you make sure this data will go into the correct pipeline and will hit the correct tables, right? So on a continuous basis, we have to start improving the data pipe. We have to keep improving the data pipelines. This will be one prime responsibility of a data engineer, right? And then creating accurate and reliable data is highly important. So for example, in this RFM example also, one mismatch. So customer ID is 9 is basically 155 and customer ID 12 is basically 555. So if there was a change in these two data, the whole segmentation of that customer is changing. So we have to make sure that the data that you're creating is accurate and is reliable. So it shouldn't break in the middle of an analysis being done, right? Yeah, and this will be one of the responsibility. And then maybe the third responsibility is like accurately processing a large amount of data, and it should be available at the correct time. So it shouldn't be like, so you are getting data, but if there is a delay in getting the data to satisfying business needs, then there is no point of collecting the data. So we have to make sure that your systems are fast enough so that if at all you need to take a decision in one day, you should be populate the data in less than a day. Then only insights can be done on the data and a decision can be taken, right? So your system should be fast enough or queryable, should be queryable fast enough that large amounts of data can be queried and the uh, uh, the output is available to us at the correct time, and it's also reliable and accurate. So this will be the job responsibilities of a data engineer. So in this job role, what kind of skill sets are required? So let us go back to the previous slide. So main uh, concepts that you should know here is basically the data mining technique should be known. SQL should be known. If at all you guys are more interested in diving deep into this field, then maybe you can learn Hadoop or Hive. Try to learn what are the big data techniques that are currently there, what kind of databases are useful for what kind of data. So if your data is not relational, then going with example for a DynamoDB or a MongoDB makes more sense than going with a traditional relationship database. So these kinds of decisions you have to take. So if at all your system is more insert, update or delete heavy, then going with a relation database makes more sense, right? Because indexing is easier in relational databases, right? And then, for example, if at all searching, or which is basically getting the data, selecting the data is more important, then going with, let's say, a MongoDB is more, Mongo or DynamoDB or NoSQL databases is more easier, right? So all these concepts of when to use what should be known. So these are the kind of skill sets which you have to develop to excel in a data engineer role. So let's move to the next role, which is basically data analyst. So in this role, this is basically your uh, descriptive and diagnostic segment, right? And your skill sets would be Tableau, Power BI, Excel, the linear programming models, right? So these are the few skill sets which you have to develop. In a data analyst role, there are two kinds of roles which are possible. One is basically you take a look at the data, try to find some patterns using maybe operations research techniques or statistical techniques, or using statistical tools, for example, and try to find out meaningful information from this data. And then using this data, we can have a better understanding of our process itself, right? So this is basically one set where you will use this data, find patterns, and try to figure out insights from this data set, right? Basically diagnostic analytics. So, and the other segment is basically in data analyst is the descriptive analytics part, which is basically the visualization. So these roles are nowadays also being named as business intelligence analyst also, right? So you have to go through the job responsibility to find out which you would be your prime responsibility. So in terms of a business intelligence analyst, your task would be to get the data, clean it, and then make sure you visualize them in a Tableau dashboard or a Power BI dashboard, or create reports out of it, so that the leadership in your team, let's say the CEO, CXO, or the mid-level to upper-level managers, can take business decisions from looking at those dashboards. So here your skill set should be mainly on visualization tools. The others can be minimal, but visualization tools and SQL will become important for a business intelligence analyst roles, right? In that case, intermediate to advanced knowledge on either Tableau or Power BI is highly essential, right? So the third set of job roles that is available, third theme, is basically the data scientist theme, which is my personal favorite and the most interesting one of all, where we'll try to use statistical languages and information techniques like AI ML to try to do steps like uh, predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics, right? This will come in this sector. Here, as a data scientist, your input will come from either a data engineer directly, where you will have the data being captured by the data engineer and have it in tables. And then as a data scientist, you have to get that data, try to analyze it, and you'll try to find out newer opportunities, right? Or it can come from data analyst stage also, where you already have a dashboard. You have to start looking deep into the data, or make some newer opportunities in the already existing data part to get valuable insights. This will be your data scientist part. One other responsibility would be to use either advanced statistical analytics, which is basically the techniques like mean, standard deviation, or variance, or linear programming models, or the last end, which is basically more technical, which is AI ML techniques. To so you have to use these technical models and train the system to identify patterns. So this will be part of your main job description, right? And then this part is usually neglected, but data scientists usually bring in a new perspective, because they are able to find patterns using the information system tools that are available with them. They are able to find new patterns which are not usually seen uh, during the data analysis phase. So in data analysis phase, you are actually projecting the current data that we have onto dashboards, and based on the visualizations that we have, we are trying to analyze the data. But in data scientists, in the data, you're trying to do some modeling and trying to find out some patterns that are there in the text, and then using these patterns you might be able to bring in a new perspective which will help a company take better decisions, right? So these are the kind of responsibilities the data scientist should have. And the main skill set that are required for data scientist is basically the statistical languages and the information system techniques. So as a engineering graduate, you should know when to use, let's say in AIML also, in ML also, you should know when to use, let's say, regression, or when to use classification, right? So when a multiple variable situation is there and everything is leading to a one output which is singular binary, then you use logistic regression, right? So basically there are multiple x's, x1, x2, x3, and you have to find out a y, and the value for y is either 0 or 1 or 1 or 2. It's binary. Then basically you have to use logistic regression. There you can't use classification because changes in x are affecting a y, right? And these x's are mostly continuous, or it should be continuous for a regression model to work. So if at all it's a classification problem, then you should know, like for example, if you have a diameter of a cancer cell and you have past data showing that if a diameter is so and so, then the cancer is harmful or harmless. This is the data that you have. This is basically a classification problem where you will train a machine learning model to go through the data and try to find out the threshold at which the classification is changing, right? This is a classification problem. So you should know when to use what kind of algorithm. This is the kind of skill set which you have to build, right? And how do you use these concepts is basically using these statistical languages like Python and R, right? Yeah. So this is the data scientist part. So these are the three job roles which are currently there in the industry. And every firm, all these, if not all three, they would have at least one or two of these in their firm, because few firm might not use the data scientist job, but they definitely have a data engineer and a data analyst. So without a data engineer role, you can't have a data analyst or a data scientist role. So every firm who is dealing with data would definitely have a data engineer role, right? So so using this knowledge, basically what we can see is in the market there are more data engineer role than the other two, right? Data scientist has become now a niche role where high expertise in these two concepts are required. One is information techniques and statistical knowledge to get a job opportunity in this. Data engineer and data energy are a lot in number, and if intermediate expertise is there in these skills, it'll be easier to crack the interview and get the job in these two job roles, right? So yeah, we are right on time. That's it from my end. If you guys have any questions, you can shoot. I think Pratyush is going to handle it, right? Yeah, over to you, Pratyush.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Your talk was really fruitful and informative. So, as you can see, the comment section is already filled with questions for you. So, I will begin right now.
Yeah.
Nitisha Kapoor is asking, how can an engineering fresher get into analytics?
Yeah, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, the question is, how can an engineering fresher get into analytics?
Yeah. So as an engineering fresher, Nitisha, so as I told, so you have to decide on what is your liking towards. If you are more of a back-end person, if you like handling or using data or creating data pipelines, then you have to think of learning concepts like data mining and have an expert advanced level knowledge in SQL and try to know how to handle multiple DBs. So let's say you pick up two NoSQL DBs that are currently doing well in the market and try to learn what is the structure like, how is their uh, uh, data modeling done, how is the data being stored in these databases. In terms of SQL DBs, knowing how to use a MySQL server is one. MySQL server is one skill set which you can develop. How to use a MySQL server or a MS SQL server. This is one skill set which you can develop if you want to become a data engineer. So if at all you're interested in more in the visualization part of it, then you have to have a knowledge in Tableau or Power BI. At least one of these tools, you have to become an intermediate to advanced level in these two tools. So this is in terms of data analyst job. And if at all you're interested more in the AI ML part of it, then you have to have knowledge, advanced knowledge in either Python or R or both, and then you should know basic ML concepts. So for this, what I would suggest is there is a course by Andrew Ng, which is very famous. He is a famous data scientist. So there is a machine learning course which is available for free on YouTube. Maybe you can go through that to enhance your machine learning basics knowledge. Yeah, I hope I have answered your question on that.
Yes, sir. So the next question is by Rajasvi Lochan. It's a bit technical one. He's asking, how can we make sure cleaning data should not affect its quality of analysis?
So how can we make sure cleaning data should not affect its quality of analysis? So yeah, so basically cleaning is a very simple and a step which has no fuss involved, right? So basically cleaning step would involve making sure your data is properly gathered or collected. So for that you should have a good database system in place. So the IMS system, which is basically information management system that is there in each firm, should be able to exactly correctly track the data that is there and should be stored in a format that data cleaning necessary itself. So for example, data cleaning can be entirely avoided if at all we make sure that the IMS system can properly track data. For example, let me give you a short example. If at all there are more free text available in your databases, the more will be your cleaning, right? For example, if it's a lead generation stage in a particular sales firm where you are trying to get the data from the customer saying, give me your email ID, give me your country, give me which state you're from, all this stuff. And in this country field, instead of having it as a free text, if you make it a list of countries that are already there, then it would make your job more easier because you already know what the data is going to be. So in your data visualization stage, you can directly populate this data onto the map. So for example, if you want to see how much sales is happening per country on a map, then it's highly important to have the country field as the correct spelling of each country is there, and the latitude and longitude coordinate should be perfect. So to extract this latitude and longitude coordinates, your country name should be perfect, right? So if you are giving it as a free text, your there can be correct entries also. I am not denying that, but there are chances of people typing a wrong spelling, right? So if you want to make sure clean quality of analysis is maintained, make sure you have fields which are fixed wherever necessary, and try to reduce free text data as much as possible in your data tables. That should be the way.
Sure, sir. So the next question is from Arunam Mittal. It's a very common question among people. He's asking, since I am a mechanical engineering student, is it feasible for a mechanical engineer to turn into a data scientist? It's a question that a lot of students from core branches are asking.
Yeah, so no matter which engineering stream you're from, so to become a data scientist, as I told, two skills that are required are, one is knowing information system concepts in ML or AI ML, basically what is data mining and all this, and the other is programming languages like Python and R. So one good and best thing about Python and R is these are not like your languages like C or Java, where OOPS concepts are involved. Python is basically a very easy language to get a scope of, right? So it's a scripting language, and it so a person need not have a prior computer science knowledge or a technical knowledge in information systems to be able to learn the syntax and the workarounds in Python. So uh, if at all you ask me, I wouldn't be worrying. If at all you're from a mechanical engineering stream also, it'll be easier. Just that you have to improve your skill set in learning Python and R one, and then try to learn machine learning concepts, which is basically mathematics in its core. And as a mechanical engineer, you will be dealing with a lot of maths and stats. So it shouldn't be a big issue. This goes for any engineering stream. So MI and AI is basically max in its essence. So yeah, to answer your question in short, it is feasible.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is by Ashwini Kumar. He's asking, is an MBA just after BTech great to get into business analysis, or else go for MTech in machine learning and related fields?
See, so for example, for an MBA after BTech, if you ask my personal opinion, I wouldn't. So since I did my MBA after my work experience, I worked for 3 years before doing my MBA. So I'm slightly biased towards that. So one main advantage being you get to know. So in MBA, knowing how a company works, how people work, how an organization work will give you more insights, and it will give you better chance to know the concepts quicker, right? So if at all you don't know how sales happen in a company, how would you understand when a professor is going to teach you concepts about sales, right? So having that prior knowledge before joining MBA would be highly useful in any career. This is my personal opinion. Whether you want to go for an MBA or MTech, that is the choice which a student has to take. So basically, if at all you're interested in the management side of things, where you want to take decisions, right? Then you should go to you should work for a certain amount of time, then do your MBA in business analytics. Or if at all you're interested in the technical stuff out of it, you like coding, you like seeing your code get executed and you getting the output, that will give you an high. Then you have to go do your MTech in machine learning or related fields to get to a higher role in business analytics. So it entirely depends on which end of the spectrum you are in. If you want to do the decision making side of things, then do an MBA. If at all you want to do hands-on stuff, you should do MTech, or you can start right after BTech also.
Sure, sir. So the next question is from Neeraj Patil. He's asking, for a job of data scientist, which language is more preferred between Python and R, or both?
So when it comes to data scientist, R is more preferable because the packages are readily available in R, and there is constant development happening in terms of R also, right? So having said that, Python is a fairly easier language to learn for most of people. So there are a lot of changes that are being, or improvements that are being done to the Python source code day in and day out. So there have been frequent version releases which is happening on a larger scale very frequently, and you can see there is a huge community that is there to help us if at all you face any issue, right? So I would say learn both Python and R if possible. If you had to choose just one, then I would go with R, because the ease of learning R is easier, and using models in R is also easier. So I would say R.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the final question is by Kuber. He's asking, what is the future of data science and will it grow in the future, particularly talking about India?
Definitely. So I think this is very easy question to answer. So nowadays you can see that every company is trying to gather data, right? So they are doing this for one reason. So there can be people saying that data privacy, all these things, but If at all, as a consumer, your expectation is without lifting a finger, you should get to know uh, what you want readily available. Then without having the data, none of the companies can give that to you, right? So keeping that in mind, data science is the way forward in terms of computer science engineering. Like every firm has started involving data in their decision making process, and this using data gives you one important thing, which is objectivity to your decisions. So whenever you take a decision and it fails or succeed, you can say that I took the decision based on this data. So there is something to fall back on. So when you take a subjective decision, it's more intuitive, and you wouldn't have some uh, some information to back you up. So as a result, every manager is currently is trying to bring in data into his decision making process. So there is definitely a lot of future in data science, and it will definitely grow in future. Yeah.
So thank you, sir, for your valuable words and the amazing presentation you delivered. The talk was highly informative and exposed us to a lot of new things and have broadened our knowledge and the attendees' knowledge regarding this field and its future scope. So thank you again for joining us today, and it was great having you here at DSC and IT Patna platform.
Thank you so much, Pratyush. One thing is, guys, if at all, so I am also a trainer, part of Phoenix Global, which I think is sponsoring this event, right,
Yes,
Pratyush?
sir. Yes, sir. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So if at all you guys want to check out the courses available at Phoenix Global, you sure can do. They do have Python courses, Tableau and Power BI workshops, which are being conducted on a weekly and monthly basis. So you guys can check that out too, right? And you guys can ping me on LinkedIn if you have any queries regarding career counseling or data analytics in general. I would be happy to answer whenever I find time. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Pratyush. And
Thank you so
a great
much, sir.
shout out to the NIT Patna team. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was our pleasure. So, guys, moving on, as we promised, we are now going to have our quiz session. Over to you, Ayush, for handling the quiz.
Oh, thank you, Pratyush. Hello, everyone. This is Aish Pratap Singh. So, the most awaited part of the day has come. That is the quiz. I will be your quiz master of the day. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, Ayush, please go ahead.
Okay. So, I would be quickly taking you through the rules that we have to follow today. So, firstly, let me tell you how to open the quiz. You guys will have to go to www.menti.com first. Listen to this part very carefully. You have to go to www.menti.com, and then you'll have to use this code 864786. Okay, I'll be waiting for a few seconds here because we'll have to uh, cope up with YouTube as well, as it is lagging by 30 seconds. By that time, you guys can join this by entering this code. I'll be waiting for next 30 to 40 seconds. Then we'll move forward. Okay, we're almost there. Just 20 to 30 seconds more, then we'll start. Okay, I think we should start now. If anyone is having any doubt regarding entering the code or going to the website, feel free to pin that in chat. I'll answer it as soon as I see it. Should I start, Pratyush?
Sir, let's just wait for 1 more minute.
Okay, sure.
Meanwhile, you could go through again and give the instructions to the attendees.
Sure. Okay. I'll quickly guide you through the process and all the rules. Since I've already told you, for the ones who have just joined or seeing it again, www.menti.com is the site where you have to go in, and then you'll have to use this particular code. Then only you'll be entering this quiz. That is 864786. In the nickname section, then you'll have to enter your Gmail ID or whichever ID you are using. Okay, then in the username part you'll have to put some notice that whatever your Gmail ID that you have, whatever the ID you have entered, you have to write the before at the rate part in your nickname, in your username, sorry. I'm repeating it again. In the username, write your username as whatever is before at the rate. Like, if I were to give you an example, if someone is having ID as johnsmith@gmail.com, then the username should be John Smith. That is whatever the part before at the rate, right? If someone is using domain of NIT Patna, then again the syntax remains the same. You'll have to enter the username as whatever is before at the rate, but before without any special symbols, that is dot or something. Just type the alphabets what is before at the rate. If any doubt, feel free to ask. I'll be waiting for next 30 seconds for the process. The participants are increasing. That's good. Let me wait for some more time. Then we'll quickly start. Pratish, do inform me when we are good to go.
I think we are good to go now.
Okay, great. So I think most of you have logged in. Who have not, try to do it as fast as possible. Now I'll quickly guide you through the game rules. You'll have 5 seconds to read the question and 15 seconds to answer that. You'll be having four options. I'll be reading the question for your convenience. A general tip would be not to use Google, as that would end up in time getting over and you would not be able to attempt the question. The next point is there is no negative marking as such. My marking of correct answer would be linear. That is, faster you answer, more marks you get. That is similar as KBC fastest finger first. The next point would be linear leaderboard would be transparent and it will be shown after every question. So there is no need of you thinking that we are doing any sort of bias thing. We'll be guiding you through the leaderboard after every question, and there will be 5 questions in total. And in case of any dispute, my decision would be final. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask. No doubt would be entertained during the quiz. You have 30 seconds to ask any doubts before the quiz. Otherwise, I'll start. Then no question would be entertained. Then okay. I think you don't have any doubts, so I'll be starting now. Okay. Great participants joining in. I'll start the quiz now. First question coming up. Which machine learning algorithm allows us to use infinite number of features? A. Linear regression. B. Logistic regression. C. Support vector machine. D. Neural network. And the time's up. Okay, so we have got 10 responses for logistic regression, which is usually most heard, but that's not the correct answer. Support vector machine is the correct answer, and which only one have gave it correct. So let's see who it is. As I've told you, I'll guide you through the leaderboard. Bill have got it 695 points, the only correct answer that we've got in this question. Okay, I'll go to the next question now. Get ready. Second question. All set? Here's the question for you. Which of these is the most leading in demand and highest paying data science career according to Northeastern University? A. ML engineer, B. Data scientist, D. Application architect, and D. Data analyst. Time's up. 19 have told data scientist, which is the topic of today, and that's the correct answer as well. Let's see who all have gave it correct. Okay, so these are all the people who have gave it correct. And as I said, the people who would be giving the fast answer would be getting the more points. And Neha UG19 still leading and having points 1435. Second is Neeraj PUG, and the third is Ritik. Okay, so I have to tell you that top three winners would be getting the prizes today. So top three of as of now is Neha, Neeraj, and Ritik. So other guys, buckle up. You'll have to face them off. Okay. Question number third coming up. What are some Python libraries used in data analysis? Options are Tableau, NumPy, Pandas, Keras, Pandas, Keras, Tableau, Open Refine, SkyPy, Seaborn, TensorFlow, Keras, Tableau, Open Refine, Bouquet, NumPy. And the time's up. Many of you have gone with this first option, but that's unfortunately the wrong answer.
Can we wait for 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to convey this information that guys, please put your email ID's name as your username, or else we won't be able to identify you and provide you with the prizes. So it's really important. Even if you win it, but you don't use your email ID, then we won't be able to contact you. Then all your hard work will go in vain. So just change it. Change your usernames if you want to be eligible for the cash prize. Thank you. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. You guys have 10 more seconds to do as Pratyush said, as that would make you eligible for getting the prizes. Okay, so we'll move on to next question now. Oh, before that, yeah, leaderboard, of course. Okay, the leaderboards are turned now. Boy is Boy, please change your username in order to get your prize. Ritik is leading now. Boy is as second, and he was the fastest in this question. Neha still in top three. Okay, we move on to next question now. This is the second last question. Be prepared, guys. From which company Steve Jobs took the idea for GUI with a mouse? A. IBM, B. Xerox, C. Amiga, D. Dell. That's an easy one. Hands up, guys. Okay, most of them have given IBM, which is the wrong answer. I fear Amiga is also the wrong answer, but Xerox is the right answer, and six of you have given them. Let's see and find out who they are. Okay, Simran is leading the leaderboard now. Santosh at second. Santosh again at third. Okay, Hoi, I would request you to change your username. Otherwise, if you are eligible for the prize, then also will not able to give you. Okay, we move on to next question. This is the final question, guys. Put in all you have. Method used to analyze customer data or information to identify patterns and relation between different data elements is often referred as A. Data mining, B. Data digging, C. Customer data management, D. Customer data collection. The easy one and the final one. Okay, so data mining is the correct answer, and 11 of you have given them as well. One as data digging, 11 as data management, and two as customer data collection. Okay, let's find out who all gave the right answer. Okay, tables have turned again. Boy is the top winner as he gave the all the correct answers fastest. I'll quickly share the leaderboard with you guys. Okay, is my screen visible, Pratyush?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, this is the leaderboard we have at the end of the quiz. Boy is the fastest with 2,323 points. Ritik second with 2,298 points. That was close. And Neha, that have been constant part of the leaderboard in top three from the beginning, 2,122 points. Congratulations to all three. Boy, I don't know why haven't you changed your username, but let's see what can happen. So yeah, that was an amazing quiz. I hope all of you enjoyed it thoroughly as I did. Congratulations to all the three winners. You guys would be contacted by our team very soon. Till then, stay tuned. Over to you, Gyanvi.
Congratulations to the winners and kudos to the participants as well. Later, we'll contact the winners via mail. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today and for being such an amazing audience to us. I hope you must have had gained a lot from this session and had a good time here. We look forward to conduct such sessions in future as well and hope to see you there. On this note, we'd like to end this session now. Thank you.
Boy, provide your email ID. I repeat, boy, Provide your
Boys,
email ID.
whosoever boys, please provide your email ID. Otherwise, you won't receive the rewards. So please do that. Thank you.